I've got this transmission out. This S20 transmission, it's an A000, so this is a long gear transmission. I'm going to be showing you guys the synchros. So if you ever have problems shifting first to second, you always hear grinding no matter how much you press in the clutch. It's going to be these guys right here. If I can get it to focus. Each one of these needs to have the pitch of a house. It needs to be nice and sharp on top, because if that starts rounding off, that's where you start getting the grinding. Is this not able to grip well enough? And these ones don't look bad. Forgive the phone quality here. These all seem pretty good. And look at the gears. Look for any chipping, any unusual scoring. A little notch through that middle is fine. Just want to inspect for anything abnormal. This I feel like that's spinning a little too free. There's supposed to be a decent amount of tension. Like this one doesn't want to rotate as much, whereas that one feels a lot more free. So I'm just going to have to tap it down whenever I go to assemble it, make sure that it's actually lining up on the splines. And we're going to do it with the bearings to test the bearings. So this is the input shaft bearing. Now these, when they explode, you'll know. You'll hear all of the worst noises in your transmission. This one honestly is very little bit snaggy. However, it's been without oil for some time now, sitting on my floor, and prior to that it sat for like a year. So I'm hoping it buffs itself out. If not, I know how to fix it, and hopefully by the end of this you guys will too. These cages, these little plastic cages around this will actually explode. And then you'll get all sorts of pieces of plastic down here. You'll get them in the diff. You'll get them lodging between gears. And it's a nightmare. And how to replace these is if you don't have a little puller, you can just flip this case over. You can either leave this laying flat, upside down, heat the case, and it'll expand the metal, and this will just fall out. Or you can take, if it's a bad one, just screwdriver, however way you want to get that out of there. But you can just flip it over, come from the back side, and start tapping it out. Diff removal. Really easy. It's just a bearing on the bottom that seats into that. And that is your speed sensor. And you want to inspect all this whenever you get this out, because if you just pull off the gears, if you've had a bad transmission, if something exploded and you don't pull this out and you don't see plastic underneath there, when this thing fills up with oil, it's just going to move its way through all the orifices. And right here we have a magnet. Let's see if I can get this out of here. Might have put that in upside down like an idiot. Come on now. There we go. Now, because I've already had this transmission apart, I've already cleaned this. Yeah, it can be used. It can be cleaned again. I mean, stuff like this is not too terrible, but when you pull these out, there'll be chances that this entire area is going to be full of just this nasty gunk. But you definitely want to get that taken care of and get that out and cleaned. Now, for these bearings, what you're listening for is any sort of metal binding. If it snags, like if it starts rolling, stops, rolls, stops. I don't hear anything at all on this, which is beautiful. It's exactly what you want. Now on the gears, this one, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put the input shaft into the slot. Now remember, when you do this, you need to have your transmission elevated. You do not want that shaft hitting the bottom, because obviously all that tension pushing upwards, especially while this thing is together, is not good. So we're going to give this a listen and a look and see if there's anything abnormal going on. Here's a slight bit of something. However, that's manageable. And you can see this is not supposed to be like this. There we go. Sorry, it was up like this. This needs to come down. This is what the these little arms grab onto. So as this sits down in this chamber here, you've got this arm for the bottom one and the top arm for the top one. Each one of these moves independent. And whenever these move, like how these just got wider, so what that would have done is this would either move up. Yeah, I'll just pull this bearing off. Come on. I'll pull that off. By the way, if you go to install your input shaft bearing, all of these markings need to be facing up. So that's how it's installed from factory, is with these numbers facing up. So if you ever have an issue, you can cross-reference part numbers prior to completely putting yourself in a bad situation. So it's very smart of them to do that. So when this moves up, there we go, when this moves up, you'll hear a little click, and that's how it locks these synchros into place. So as this is spinning, that locks, and now you got the whole shaft going. Pull that back up, you just got this one wanting to rotate freely. And you see as this comes down, there's teeth in it. And they lock those synchros into place. The bearing seems decent too. Little dry noise, nothing terrible. And again, the synchros. Without the shaft, it's not going to stay up. But you understand the concept there. That's how you check and make sure that's good. Everything needs to be aligned. Anything that does rotate freely needs to have some tension on it when it does. And then the next video that comes out is going to be reassembly. And this is where things get a little tricky, because you have to have these gears in here, these gears in here. You have to keep them closed and together. Have all three of these lined up to go between this right here, which moves up and down, this whole thing. And yeah, it becomes a little bit tricky, but I'll go over the rest of that here in a later video. But that was a little rundown on checking your synchros, looking for any sort of chipping, anything like that, any excessive wiring and scoring, bearings and their sounds. I know this bearing can most likely be replaced, the bottom one. But moving on, hopefully that video helped you guys out some. And then on the next one, I'll get more in detail of anything else I may have missed, or if you guys leave any sort of comments, let me know what I missed. But I appreciate everyone out there for watching. And then give a follow if you like what you saw, and we can work from there. And this is my workshop. So if you guys stick around, get used to seeing it.